From the bustling cantinas of Mos Eisley to the neon-lit clubs of Coruscant, there's one genre of music that's kept the galaxy far, far away tapping its feet. Jizz. No, you heard that right. Lately, however, our beloved Jizz has been in a fight for its life against corporate sanitization. I'm Charlie. Welcome to Fat Bitch. I'm fat, less bitch. First, my bona fides. I've been a Star Wars fan since my dad showed me his VHS copies when I was 4. When I got over my fear of Chewbacca, I was hooked. Action figures, Halloween costumes, playing Jedi with cardboard wrapping paper tubes, all that stuff. I love the swashbuckling action, the mystical nature of the Force, and especially the droids, like any good autist. But the main thing that sunk its teeth into me was the music. After that first marathon, I couldn't get it out of my head. Humming the main theme to myself while laying in bed, a sleepless, undiagnosed little neurodivergent being, much to my sister's annoyance. Plinking out leitmotifs on the piano when I was supposed to be practicing my recital pieces. I've always gravitated towards jazz, even throwing accidentals and flourishes into my exercises. So you can imagine when I first heard that Cantina band, I was transfixed. The music sounded otherworldly but grounded at the same time. Flash forward to middle school one day browsing Wikipedia when I stumbled across the epiphany that has become a rite of passage for so many fans of the galaxy far, far away. The genre of those jazzy, swinging beats the modal nodes and Max Rebo played was canonically called Jizz. I was taken aback, to say the least. Jizz was something I'd only heard snickered in middle school classrooms by the rude boys, which I was not a rude boy. Remember, this was pre-Jizz in my pants.
And I jizzed in my past.
Yes, I am old. Right away, this info was dog-eared in my brain as a killer fun fact to share with the uninitiated. A shibboleth to connect with kindred spirits, and the source of more than a couple good-hearted chuckles. Jizz has been with us as a fandom since nearly the beginning, first referenced in the junior novelization of Return of the Jedi. The band started playing, led by a blue flop-eared Jizz whaler named Max Rebo. Dancers flooded the floor. The courtiers hooted and brewed their brains a bit more. Since Disney's $4 billion purchase of Star Wars, however, Jizz has been left out in the cold. The term, and media directly referencing it, were relegated to the realm of legends when Disney wiped the slate clean by decanonizing the expanded universe. A vital lifeline that kept Star Wars alive in the dark ages of the late 80s and the 90s. On its face, it seems like a perfectly reasonable decision. Given Disney's family-friendly image, of course they'd want to distance themselves from a word with such vulgar connotations. But let's pause for a second. Is jizz really such a dirty word? Kind of, but let's dive into its history and origins to investigate. Upon doing a little digging, I came across Jonathan Green, the English-speaking world's leading lexicographer of slang. His Green's Dictionary of Slang is considered the largest historical dictionary of English slang, covering the last 500 years or so. Green's dictionary lists jizz as an alternate form of the noun jism. It's gross, but stick with me. Original US slang from before the Civil War. Back then, jism was used as a synonym for energy, vitality, and spirit, leading to hilarious alternate forms like the adjective jizzless, meaning apathetic or languid. Further digging revealed usage from the 20s among bird watchers, documented in Thomas Coward's Country Diary column in the Manchester Guardian. If we are walking on the road and see far ahead someone whom we can recognize, although we can neither distinguish features nor particular clothes, we may be certain that we are not mistaken. There is something in the carriage, the walk, the general appearance which is familiar. It is, in fact, the individual's jizz. Sure, Green's Dictionary also documents the less savory meaning as emerging around 1888. But that's language, baby! Words can have multiple meanings. Is the term jizz a little rough around the edges? Yeah, sure, of course, but that's Star Wars, baby! It's a rich, lived-in universe where grit and grime are placed center stage. Ships are rusted out and held together with scraps. We experience the dirty underbelly of the galaxy alongside our favorite characters, and that's why we love it. So what term has the mouse deemed worthy of replacing our beloved jizz? Jats! 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 Okay, so that's definitely a combination of letters. Turns out, Jats and Jizz have both been used interchangeably across Legends Star Wars media since Jats made its first appearance in a 1993 Star Wars fiction magazine. Since the change in ownership, Disney has shown a strong preference for Jats, as it's the only one that's made the jump to new canon media, making its first appearance in the short story The Perfect Weapon in 2015. Okay, so Disney found an in-universe alternative to Jizz. Not ideal for us die-hard fans, but at least it's squeaky clean, right? Just like Mickey ordered. About that. When you Google Jats, it seems like a much more palatable set of results. Primarily, you get a ton about the Australian cracker brand of the same name. But if we scratch the surface, an equally vulgar meaning is revealed. Jats cracker, as it turns out, is Australian rhyming slang for knackers. For my fellow Americans, that means testicles. Home run, Disney. No notes. Disney, in its quest to make the Star Wars universe fit neatly into its broader brand image, might be tempted to sanitize or whitewash aspects that seem out of place. But in doing so, they risk sterilizing what made Star Wars unique. Instead of erasing or avoiding potentially controversial or misunderstood terms, we should aim to educate, inform fans new and old about the context and history of terms like Jizz within the Star Wars universe. So where do we go from here? I say, if Disney is dead set on sticking to Jats, like a set of Jats crackers stick to your leg on a hot afternoon, then we as a community have a responsibility to educate others on its own vulgar meaning. Thanks for bitching with me! See you next time!